They told you that to win a woman's genuine respect and desire, you needed a checklist. They told you it was about the car you drive, the balance in your bank account, the clothes you wear, or the lines you memorize. They sold you the illusion that attraction is a transaction, and that if you simply acquire enough external status, you will finally be worthy of love. They lied. What if everything modern society, internet gurus, and pop culture has taught you about what women actually want is entirely backwards? What if the endless pursuit of wealth, aesthetics, and superficial dominance is just a smokescreen hiding the one fundamental, unshakable trait that women have been biologically and psychologically wired to crave since the dawn of humanity? The truth is much simpler and vastly more difficult to achieve. What a high-value woman truly wants from you has nothing to do with what you own, and everything to do with who you are when the world descends into chaos. She does not want a man she can control. She does not want a tyrant who tries to control her. She wants a mountain. She wants a man who has built an unshakable inner citadel. She wants a man of profound Stoic virtue, whose emotional baseline is so incredibly grounded that no storm can uproot him. Welcome to Stoic Mindshift. If you are exhausted by the games, the superficial advice, and the constant confusion of modern dating, and you are ready to forge the kind of unshakable masculine presence that commands profound respect, read on. It is time to master yourself. From the time you were a boy, you were fed two competing, equally toxic narratives about how to interact with women. The first narrative told you to be the nice guy. It told you that if you bend over backwards, compromise your own boundaries, agree with everything she says, and shower her with endless, unearned validation, she will reward you with affection. But you have likely already discovered the brutal truth about this strategy. It breeds nothing but resentment. The nice guy operates from a place of covert manipulation. He is not being kind because he is genuinely virtuous. He is being kind because he is desperately trying to purchase her approval. Women have an incredibly refined psychological radar. They can sense this underlying desperation immediately. They know that a man who cannot say no to them is a man who cannot protect them from the world. A man who stands for nothing will fall for anything. The second narrative is the modern reaction to the first. It is the alpha or bad boy facade. It tells you to be cold, callous, and aggressively dominant. It tells you to treat relationships as a power struggle where you must constantly assert your superiority. But this, too, is a pathetic illusion. The man who has to constantly shout about his authority is terrified of losing it. His aggressive exterior is just a fragile mask hiding a deep, unhealed insecurity. He is just as reactive as the nice guy, only his reaction manifests as anger rather than appeasement. Stoicism completely dismantles both of these illusions. The Stoic man realizes that both the nice guy and the tyrant are slaves. They are slaves to external validation. Their entire emotional state is dictated by how a woman responds to them. What a woman truly desires is the third path. The grounded man. A man who does not need her to complete him. A man who is so firmly rooted in his own purpose, his own values, and his own self-respect that he does not need to perform a character to keep her around. He is not trying to buy her, and he is not trying to break her. He simply exists as an unmovable force of nature. To understand what women genuinely crave on a primal psychological level, we must use a metaphor. Feminine energy, in its purest psychological form, is like the weather. It is fluid, dynamic, intuitive, and constantly changing. It brings life, beauty, and immense passion. But weather also brings storms. It brings chaos. It brings sudden shifts in temperature and violent emotional winds. Masculine energy, the Stoic ideal, is the mountain. The mountain does not react to the weather. When the sun is shining, the mountain is still. When a Category 5 hurricane crashes against its cliffs, the mountain does not panic, it does not move, and it does not try to fight the wind. It simply holds its ground until the storm passes. What a woman is looking for, above all else, is emotional safety. But emotional safety does not mean you agree with her all the time. Emotional safety means that when her internal weather becomes chaotic, when she is stressed, anxious, overwhelmed, or testing your boundaries, she wants to know if you will break. She is secretly terrified of a man who matches her chaos with his own chaos. If she gets upset, and you instantly become furious, defensive, or start yelling, you have failed the test. You have proven that you are not the mountain. You are just a leaf blowing in her wind. You have shown her that she has the power to dictate your emotional state. And ironically, the moment a woman realizes she can control your emotions, she loses her respect for you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When she brings a storm to your doorstep, your stoic duty is to remain in the inner citadel. You do not absorb her anxiety. You do not raise your voice to match hers. You look at her with calm, unshakable eyes, and you hold the space. You listen without being triggered. You lead with stillness. When she realizes that her storm cannot uproot you, her anxiety will dissipate. She will finally feel safe enough to surrender to your leadership, because she knows you are strong enough to hold the structure of the relationship. If we step away from ancient Rome for a moment and look at the deep psychology of Carl Jung, we uncover the darkest reason why men fail with women. Jung taught us about the shadow, the unexamined, unhealed, unconscious parts of our psyche. The tragedy of the modern man is that he refuses to do his shadow work. He refuses to process his childhood wounds, his feelings of inadequacy, and his profound loneliness. Because he refuses to heal himself, he subconsciously looks for a woman to do the heavy lifting for him. Millions of men do not actually want a partner. They secretly want a mother. They want a woman to regulate their emotions. They want a woman to soothe their anxieties, validate their existence, and assure them that they are worthy of love. They dump their unhealed trauma onto her lap and expect her to fix it. This is the ultimate destruction of attraction. A woman cannot feel raw, visceral desire for a man she has to mother. The moment she feels like she is responsible for managing your fragile emotional state, her respect for you evaporates. This is where Stoic radical responsibility becomes your greatest weapon. The Stoic man takes absolute ownership of his inner world. He does not outsource his emotional regulation to his partner. He processes his own pain. He builds his own confidence. He sits in solitude and wrestles with his own demons so that when he comes to a woman, he comes as a whole, integrated king, not a bleeding, needy boy. A high-value woman wants to share in your strength, not carry your weakness. She wants to be your companion on the journey, not your emotional crutch. When you prove that you are entirely self-sufficient, that you can handle your own darkness without collapsing, you become incredibly magnetic. You become a rare anomaly in a world full of emotionally fragile men. If you have ever been in a relationship, you have experienced the test. It is that sudden, inexplicable moment where she creates friction out of nowhere. She might pick a fight over something trivial, question your judgment, or push against one of your stated boundaries. Most men react to the test with intense frustration. They take it personally. They think, "Why is she doing this to me? Why can't we just have peace?" They get defensive. They start arguing with logic. or they completely fold and apologize just to make the tension go away. You must execute a radical perspective shift. The test is not malicious. It is a deeply ingrained, biological and psychological mechanism designed to check the structural integrity of your inner citadel. A woman tests you because she needs to know if the walls of your fortress are strong enough to protect her when the real world comes attacking. She is subconsciously asking, is this man solid? If I push him, will he collapse? If the world gets hard, will he crumble under the pressure? Epictetus taught that we are disturbed not by events, but by the views we take of them. If you view her test as a personal attack, you will react with anger and weakness. If you view her test as a request for leadership, a plea for you to show her your strength, you will respond with stoic calm. When she tests your boundary, you do not get angry. You simply enforce the boundary with a smirk and unwavering eye contact. You do not explain yourself defensively. You do not beg for her understanding. You stand firm like the mountain. When you pass the test by remaining completely unbothered, her internal tension breaks. The friction dissolves into attraction. She was not trying to defeat you. She was hoping you were strong enough to defeat her chaos. There is a Stoic principle that terrifies the weak, but empowers the strong. The practice of detachment. Detachment does not mean you are cold, heartless, or aloof. It does not mean you do not love deeply. Stoic detachment means outcome independence. It means that while you vastly prefer the presence of a good woman in your life, your survival, your happiness, and your core identity do not depend on her. Most men love from a place of terrifying scarcity. They grip their partner so tightly, it suffocates the relationship. They are constantly terrified she will leave, terrified she will lose interest, terrified of being alone again. This fear dictates their every move, making them jealous, controlling, and weak. A woman knows when you are afraid of losing her. And ironically, your paralyzing fear of losing her is the exact thing that will drive her away. The Stoic man operates from a place of absolute abundance. He loves fiercely, he protects fiercely, but he knows in the deepest fibers of his being that if she were to walk out the door tomorrow, he would be completely fine. His inner citadel would not crumble. His mission in life would not stop. He would grieve the loss, and then he would continue moving forward. This is the ultimate paradox of attraction. A woman is most violently drawn to the man who does not need her. Because you do not need her to survive, your love becomes a genuine gift, not a desperate tax. You are not keeping her around to fill a void in your soul. You are keeping her around because you genuinely enjoy her presence. And because she knows that you have the internal strength to walk away the moment your boundaries are disrespected, she will fiercely respect those boundaries. The man who is comfortable in solitude, as we have discussed before, is the only man capable of a healthy relationship. If you cannot be alone, your relationship is a hostage situation. If you master the art of being completely satisfied in your own company, your presence becomes a prize. A massive mistake modern men make is making a woman the absolute center of their universe. They drop their hobbies, they neglect their male friendships, and they sacrifice their ambitions to spend every waking second catering to their partner. They think this is what women want. They think that by making her his everything, he is proving his love. Once again, this is a fatal illusion. A high-value woman does not want to be the center of your universe. She wants to be a vital, cherished part of your universe. But she wants your mission to be at the center. Look at history. The men who commanded the most respect, the men who drove the world forward, were men obsessed with a purpose greater than themselves. Marcus Aurelius was obsessed with the stability of the Roman Empire and his own philosophical virtue. If a woman is your entire purpose in life, she will feel a crushing, suffocating weight. It is too much pressure for one human being to be the sole source of another human being's happiness and direction. Furthermore, she will lose respect for you, because a man whose highest ambition in life is simply pleasing his girlfriend is a man without a true masculine drive. You must have a mission. You must have a purpose that you are deeply, relentlessly dedicated to. It could be your business, your art, your physical mastery, or your legacy. When you have a mission, you naturally create space in the relationship. You are not always available. You are not always texting back within 3 seconds. Not because you are playing games, but because you are busy building an empire. A woman wants to follow a man who is going somewhere. She wants to stand beside a captain who is steering the ship toward a massive destination. If the ship is just floating aimlessly in the harbor because the captain is too busy staring at her, she will eventually jump off and find another ship. Prioritize your mission. Build your legacy. When you focus on becoming a man of supreme value and unrelenting purpose, the attraction of the woman in your life will naturally follow as a byproduct of your greatness. Philosophy without execution is just daydreaming. To actually embody this Stoic archetype, you must apply these principles to the micro moments of your daily life. Here is the exact protocol for becoming the mountain. 1. Master the pause. Viktor Frankl taught us that between stimulus and response, there is a space, and in that space lies our power. The next time she comes to you with chaotic energy, anxiety, or an unprovoked argument, you do not respond immediately. You take a full, deep breath. You create a 3-second pause. You let her words hang in the air. That pause is the moat around your inner citadel. It prevents you from snapping back defensively. It forces her to feel your stillness. 2. Listen to understand, not to fix. When a woman is venting her frustrations, the logical male brain immediately wants to offer solutions. We want to fix the problem to make the negative emotion go away. Stop doing this. She does not want your logical solution. She wants your grounded presence. She wants to know that you can hear the chaos of her day without being thrown off balance. Look her in the eye, listen deeply, and hold the emotional space. Say, "I understand why that frustrates you." Let her weather run its course against your mountain. 3. Enforce boundaries without anger. If she crosses a line, disrespects you, or tests a hard boundary, you must correct her. But the Stoic man does not correct with rage. Rage is a loss of control. You correct her with cold, unwavering certainty. A calm, firm "do not speak to me" with that tone delivered with absolute eye contact is infinitely more powerful than a 30-minute screaming match. It shows her that your boundaries are made of iron, and they do not require you to raise your voice to enforce them. 4. Never beg for desire. Desire cannot be negotiated. You cannot argue a woman into being attracted to you. If she pulls away, becomes distant, or tests your commitment by acting cold, you do not pursue her desperately. You do not send her a block of text begging for her attention. You match her distance with your own unshakable focus on your mission. You retreat to your inner citadel. You give her the gift of missing you. The Stoic man never chases. He simply holds his ground and lets the world adjust to him. The modern world is suffering from a catastrophic deficit of strong, grounded, emotionally bulletproof men. Society is overflowing with boys in men's bodies, reactive, needy, easily provoked, and entirely dependent on the validation of women to feel worthy of existing. You must decide today to step out of that pathetic paradigm. What a woman truly wants from you is for you to become the man you were always meant to be. She wants you to be the unshakable king of your own life. She wants you to conquer your fears, integrate your shadow, and build a mind so resilient that the tragedies, chaos, and tests of the world simply bounce off your armor. Stop trying to memorize the perfect pickup lines. Stop trying to buy her loyalty with superficial status. Stop acting like a slave to her emotional weather. Build the mountain. Fortify the inner citadel. Commit to your mission with relentless, brutal discipline. Take absolute, radical ownership of your own emotions. When you stop needing her validation, you will naturally command her respect. When you stop fearing her chaos, you will effortlessly invite her peace. Become the man who cannot be moved. And watch as the world, and the women in it, reorient themselves around your gravity. Stay grounded. Stay disciplined. Stay stoic.